Let's talk. DDO needs some help. There's no short list on the things that plague DDO, from its servers to the gameplay and the iterations that it has gone through in the past 15 years and where that trajectory is headed for the future. It's not looking good. A lot of what the dedicated players, which is almost everyone within DDO, there isn't a huge marketing team to push it out in front of new players to get new blood into the game. It's a lot of the same players that have been around for years and years. They've begun to bond around the negativity that DDO brings. And it is a rough spot to see and to be a part of. And you can't really blame anyone for it, though. At least I don't. Because there is so much that gets in the way from being able to enjoy the game. Health Plan needs to be present in DDO, and whether that's simply communication from the developers and things that they're actively addressing and a timeline set for those, so the entire community can understand what is going on and when things are going to be addressed. Things like server lag, and when you gather players in an MMO for a raid and all of a sudden everyone starts to lag and everyone starts to slow down, and you have to reset clients, or you have to reset, you have to wait for server resets. Even after server resets, those don't help. It's very frustrating to try to play the game in any capacity and have these things, these server side out of player control things get in the way of trying to enjoy the game. On top of that, simply trying to enjoy the game can be a struggle due to all the bugs. Things like load screens, which, guess what? DDO is an instant-based game. There are many load screens in it. You have to go through them. And in a percentage of them, you just stop. Like, your game stops. You have to wait. You don't know if it's the servers just slowing down, and so you have everyone on the entire servers having the issue, or if you're actually crashed. So you either wait for a minute and then Alt F4 out and try to boot up again, and then it was actually just the general servers, so you have to sit there and wait more, or you waited for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, just waiting for the servers to catch up, but everyone's already out and doing things, and you're just stuck there. It destroys immersion, destroys fluidity of playing the game. Like ladder bugs. We're just trying to get from point A to point B, just up a nice ladder that the devs intend for you to go up, and you try to jump on it. And
well, the trash not being as much of an issue, I imagine you get for longer raids, yeah.
Though on hardcore right now, only going, oh my god, let me fucking get up this ladder. Excuse me? Ladder bugged? Help. Is it just when you jump up? I don't know what the fuck happened. I've never had it that bad before. Holy shit. Snap to the bottom. Okay, do it again, and then it happens again. And it's that disruption that's so rough. And those are the micros of when you're actually interacting with the game. To you even get to that point and to engage with core systems of DDO, like reincarnating, there isn't a lot of optimization. Like, reincarnations have not changed other than more reincarnations to do to get you to stay around to the game more and for longer. The TR cache hasn't changed. There have been issues since day one of losing items and no cycling and having to spend 45 minutes just going through your TR cache, putting stuff in at the end of a life, clearing out your inventory, and then taking stuff out at the start of your next life. It takes such an insane amount of time. You're spending hours upon hours, hundreds of hours, just interacting with the TR cache alone to get through all of your lives, which is incentivized with DDO. So it just feels terrible. So where do you go? There are things that are issues with the game. Where do you go from there? DDO has done a good job at sticking to its design philosophies. And they need to iterate on those philosophies, right? Make use of the design space that you have made. The class system, the enhancement system, the Epic Destinies, they're all very expansive, and they provide a ton of space, a ton of tweaking, things that you can add in to bring a fresh look into the game and continue to build it up. But you seldom see those happening for how much is available for all of those to be tweaked. Adding in extra enhancement trees, adding in entirely new feat lines, revamping old ones. They happen, but it's not at any sort of consistent level. Plus, the communication on it isn't that big. And so I'd love to see the developers iterate on these designs and take it a step further and add new content into the game. Don't just make it so you have to go back and redo old content. Like there's going wide, and it's a design choice that is there. But then there's, okay, content is so old, and now for our new expansion, a part of it is you want to gain power, you want to interact with the new systems, go back and play old ones. It just doesn't feel very empowering as a player to be forced to go back and do the content that you've been doing for years and years, and now it's like, oh, you got to do it even more. Adding things and taking the chances on stuff like hardcore, where it's a complete reset, it's a cash cow for them. Put a little bit more energy into it, so there's an incentive to play it other than just people that want to, right? Give people a reason to play it. Give people rewards that they want, not just the same horse every single season, not just the same, like, oh, out of place, doesn't match with anything else in the game headpiece. There's or a pet that has no uniqueness to it. Gives people something to chase. And along with that, and how to implement these in, right? If they have the ideas on what to do, how do you implement it? You have to have better communication. I think this is directly at the developers. There needs to be a roadmap, something to point at and then hold them accountable for things. There's a letter at the start of the year saying, hey, these are possibilities, stuff that we're thinking about. But even in that letter, it's, oh, things aren't final. We don't know what's going on with them. So having a roadmap, having set goals for the team, for the community to rally behind and push for and look forward to would go a long way. Speaking on the development team, there needs to be a higher emphasis and focus on the art and environment. You have things that do go pretty well, like the new Feywild Explorer, which is fantastic. It's very lush. There's lots of things going on. It's not just a flat plain. But then you have the raid, which is literally some mountains that you go make in a train simulator and call it a good day. Right? There isn't a lot of depth there. There's nothing really going on. And a lot of items within the game are reskins and just copy pastes. There isn't a ton of uniqueness in there and innovation on that. There aren't new chase items being hugely added on just the pure cosmetic side. And that's something that, like with hardcore, they have the availability to do. You can put in items that people want and will pay for. The DDO store has very few items that are like, oh yeah, this is unique, this is special. And although I don't agree with it, it's our avenue to take to continue to fund the game, which is very important. And with that, you can capitalize on the going wide system and marry it with having content that people want to do and putting a price tag on it. Make a battle pass of content, right? You have to go and you have to do these quests, these raids at a certain difficulty, and you get points. The more points you get, the more items you unlock. These are cosmetic, fantastic. It ticks all the boxes, and everyone can, for the majority part, win by the end. Love to see the game get more support and be brought in a direction where everyone can agree that is a good choice. There's so much standing in the way that these have to be addressed and moved forward on.